Hi, I'm Emily. Welcome to episode 14 of Holding the Sticks, a hockey themed fiber arts podcast. Hi, everyone, and welcome to my living room here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. My name is Emily, and you can find me on Ravelry as Shanti Dragon and on Plurk and Twitter as Emily3022. You'll notice that I have different environment today, and you may hear some background noise. I am trying to get this episode recorded and out as quickly as possible today, and it's going to be very different from usual. I am just back from my time in an alternate reality in Atlanta, Georgia. I went to a con. I was at Furry Weekend Atlanta, and anytime you go to something like that where you live in an alternate reality for several days, it's a little bit hard coming back down to earth. So forgive me if I'm a little out there today. What else is new, right? Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about with the Furry Weekend Atlanta, I talked a little bit more about it in the last episode. And you can watch that if you would like to know more. I'm also going to talk a lot about my trip at the end of this episode. I'm going to talk to you guys about my fiber arts, what little I got done over this week, and we'll start out with some administrative stuff. I don't have show notes really this time, so this may just be a bad idea, but we're going to do the best we can. Let's start out with just a little bit of administrative. I have not watched any podcasts or really been on Ravelry much at all over the past week. So if you mention me on your podcast, thank you very, very much. I always like to thank anybody who watches the show, new viewers and returning viewers alike. And I also love to communicate with all of you on social media and on Ravelry. Thank you to everyone who has reached out to me in these mediums over the past week. A week and a day now, since I'm recording on a Tuesday. It's excuse me, it's Tuesday, March 19th. I usually record on Mondays, so it's been a little bit more than a week. The March Mad Hatter Knit Along Crochet Along is still going on. There's a thread on the Ravelry group for that. You can knit any hat that you want, and you could have started it at any time. You just need to finish a hat during the month of March to enter. If you donate that hat to any charity, then you can put a second post in the thread on the group, and then you'll get two chances to win the prizes. So this month I have a choice of prizes for you. So let me talk about those real quick. I have two choices of stitch markers for the winner. I'm only giving away one prize, but the winner will get to choose from these three. I have two choices of stitch markers. They're a little bit spread out here. Let's see. Here are the stitch markers. The black ones are hematite, and the orange ones are carnelian. They will fit large needles. So for those of you who like to work with thicker yarns and bigger needles, these will work for you. I'm not sure exactly how high they go up, but I am pretty sure that they will fit. I mean, it goes right on my... Oops, never mind. It'll fit right over my pointer finger. So there are three of the hematite ones and four of the carnelian ones. So that's the first two choices for prizes. The third choice for a prize, if you win, will be any Ravelry giftable pattern, $5 or less. So if you're thinking about knitting a hat to donate to charity, but you're not sure which charity to use, or give your hat to, I have a couple of suggestions. If you like to use natural fibers that may be hand wash only, the Bundles of Joy group on Ravelry has addresses where you can send natural fiber hand wash only hats. They work with different organizations on the Pine Ridge Reservation where most people do not own washing machines. So even baby things that you knit can be made with wool. In fact, they actually prefer it because wool is warm. So go to the Bundles of Joy group on Ravelry. I will link that in my show notes, and you can find out more about that. They work with, like I said, different organizations, and you can knit things from newborn all the way up to adult sizes. So that's pretty cool. The other one I just learned about today, it's called Pat Pat's Hats, and here's a link right here. And this is a charity that was started by the family of a little boy who was battling cancer, and he has been medically cleared and cured from his cancer. But his family wants to give back to the medical center that helped him. You can find more information on that website. I found out about this from my husband's aunt who lives locally to that hospital. And they also take hats for children, anything from babies all the way up to teens. So children, infant to adult sizes for these hats. And that's another good one if you are looking for a charity to donate to. So that is it. I hope I mentioned everything for the March Mad Hatter Knit Along Crochet Along. If not, all of the details are listed on the thread on Ravelry in the group. So on to a little bit of fiber arts. I've only worked on one thing this week, just one. I didn't do anything else. I didn't have a whole lot of time for knitting on my vacation, and I definitely didn't have any time for spinning. Those of you who follow me on Plurk saw how full the car was when we got it packed up to go on our trips, so I didn't have room to put my spinning wheel in the car. I wouldn't have had time to use it anyway. So I just worked on Mork all week. Before I left for Atlanta, I finished the body, so that is really exciting. Seems like I've been working on this sweater forever. Mork will look like this when it's finished. And got a little puppy hair on here. Here's the body for where I have finished. I'm using Barocco Ultra Alpaca in the Redwood colorway. I don't remember the color number, but it is on previous episodes. I'm going to scooch this camera back just a little bit here. There we go. And I am glowing now. I apologize for the lighting and background noise and everything. So I hope you can bear with me. So anyway, this is the body of Mork. I'm using the Barocco Ultra Alpaca yarn and size 6 4.0 millimeter needles. This is the front. There we go. And I just have it pinned together at the sides. The shoulder seams are done. So that's good. It's just a 3-needle bind off. I'm not, it's not the best, prettiest seam ever, but it works. Not the ugliest either, so there you go. And here's the back. There we go. I tried this on, just pinned together like this, and once I get it, just give it a light blocking, it's going to fit perfect. I'm really excited to finish it now. You always feel like when you get the body done, you're almost finished. Sleeves always take longer than you think they're going to, at least in my experience. So I brought the sleeves with me to work on while on vacation, and this is how far I got. This is all I did the whole time I was gone. So I love that little cable detail at the bottom of the sleeve, at the cuff. And then it's just a rib with increases on either side as you come up. And there'll be a little, what do they call it, a shoulder tab at the top. These will be set-in sleeves. It'll be a little complicated, but I've done them before, so it should be fine. Oh, the one thing I didn't mention on this body here, the neckline, I learned something new. So when I knit this, this is just, this part right here, they're just cable increases or decreases depending on which side, you know, of the V. But the back was unfinished, and I learned how to do, what is it called? An I-cord bind off. So I'm kind of proud. And this is really cool. It was just a raw edge that looked pretty much like the bottom of the sweater here, if I can get it to where you can see. See, the bottom of the sweater just has that raw edge. And that's the way the back of this neckline looked too. And the pattern walked me right through it, so I didn't have to even look up a tutorial or anything. I couldn't explain to you how I did it now, you know, when you're knitting something. It's kind of like magic. So this is my I-cord bind off. Isn't that pretty? It's such a nice finished edge. I really, really like it. So, and it wasn't that hard. It was a little bit fiddly, but it wasn't that hard. So if you are a newer knitter and you see a pattern that has that I-cord bind off, or yeah, the I-cord bind off, then don't worry. Or, you know, I'm one that I won't do a pattern if there's something in it that I don't know. So don't let it scare you if you see that. It's a pretty cool technique. I liked it a lot. So that is it for Mork. And that's it for my fiber arts. I didn't spin it all. Not going to talk any hockey today because I was able to listen a little bit to some Hurricanes hockey, but to be honest, I can't remember who won which games. I know there were a lot of losses for both the Hurricanes and the Checkers, so I'm just not going to talk about it this week. I'm going to get straight into talking to you about the Furry Weekend Atlanta that I attended. So if you are not interested in that, I won't be in the least bit offended if you decide to turn this off now and just come back next week. But I will have a lot of photos from my trip. I'll have some video, including of my husband wearing his Scape the Goat costume and playing his bagpipes with a band. They did a Dropkick Murphys cover, and I'll have that video at the end of the show here. I'll have all of the video will be at the end, I'm pretty sure, just in case people get motion sick or whatever. I know I'm not the steadiest of camera people, so yeah, we'll get right into that here. All right, let's get into the part of the show where you'll find out just how crazy I really am. I went to Furry Weekend Atlanta last week. It went from Thursday through Sunday night. We arrived in Atlanta on a Thursday morning and we left Atlanta on Monday morning. So we had a nice 5 days or so there in an alternate reality. If you're not familiar with the furry fandom, it is basically a group of people who like anthropomorphic animals. And there's a wide range of the different sorts of likes that people have. Anthropomorphic animals are animals like Bugs Bunny, Goofy from Disney. If you've seen the Fantastic Mr. Fox, that movie, that's a really good example of what furries like. If you saw the CSI episode with furries, that was not accurate. We take a lot of flack for that. It has attracted a lot of people who want to take the fandom in that direction, and it's starting to get to the point where there may need to be a split between these two groups. The adult group and the family-friendly group may need to split off here eventually because, well, we'll just leave it at that. I talked more about that in, I think it was my last episode. So we'll just get into my trip and I'll tell you how it went. We left here on Wednesday night after my husband got off of work. If you follow me on Plurk, you probably saw the photos of us packing our car. There was the before picture of all of the things that needed to go in the car. and the after picture when we actually got all of that stuff to fit in our little Saturn. And that was an adventure in and of itself. Um, I spent part of the trip with a big box, like kind of against my head. 'Cause it was so long. It was like in the back seat, coming all the way forward. But then our friend was kind enough to take the box because he had room in his car for the other part of the trip, so I didn't have to deal with that. Anyway, we left Wednesday night. We went to Hickory to spend the night with our friends. That's about an hour and a half away from here, and then we left early, about 5 a.m. on Thursday morning, and we got to Atlanta about lunchtime. We always stop and get a few groceries outside before you get into the city. We stopped at a Publix and picked up a few snacks and coffee creamer and things like that. And then we got to the hotel probably right around noon, and we checked in, and they put us on the 63rd floor. Now, one of my party who actually watches this podcast, hi Rob, he is very much afraid of heights, and he's a bit claustrophobic too. So he was not happy to hear that we would be on the 63rd floor. And I, on the other hand, felt bad for Rob, obviously, because he's my friend, but I was also very excited because I'm also afraid of heights, but to be in a hotel room up that high doesn't bother me. I love to have a view, and we had an amazing view from our hotel room. Here's a picture or two or three. So you can imagine how excited I was to get up there, and Rob did just fine. Once we got settled in and he kind of desensitized himself to it, he did just fine. Um, but it did make for some interesting issues with our costuming. Now, we stayed at the Westin, downtown Atlanta. It's the tallest building in their skyline, I believe. It's the tallest hotel in some large area. I can't remember now. I'm not good at remembering all of these little things. Rob could tell you all about it because he knows all of this stuff. He's really good with history, and he spent a lot of time in Atlanta. So, but here's the picture of the Westin. And we're up near the top. I think it's 72 floors. Um, so we were up near the top of the building, and I really, really enjoyed that. However, the elevators had trouble keeping up with the traffic. I'll get into that a little bit later. So we got up to our room on Thursday, and we unpacked. And I wish I had taken a picture before before the luggage had all been unpacked, and that could have showed you. But by the end of the con, the room looked like this. And we only had 4 people staying in the room, which I know a lot of adults would think that's too many people in a hotel room, but it was 2 double beds, so and a lot of furries will pack a hotel room with like 8 people, which is just ridiculous. But the thing is, because we dress up in these costumes, we have to travel, number one, with the costumes. I have a costume. My husband has 2 costumes. Our friend brought 3 of his, I believe. Maybe just 2. And then Rob had 1. And not only do we have all of these costumes, we also have the equipment to hang up and dry these costumes. So it's, well, you can see in the picture there was a drying rack that my husband bought from Walmart. Actually, he bought a clothes rack from Walmart and modified it to make it taller, mounted 2 of those long skinny fans, one on the bottom and one on the top, and then we have other various fans pointed at the costumes. And we also have several little fans about this diameter that we set on a desk and point upward, and that's where we dry out our costume heads. We'll put the head on top of the fan and it blows air through. You get very, very hot when you're wearing these costumes. So it's really important to be able to dry them out. When you only have one like I do, you don't want to wear it in the morning and then go around in your normal clothes for a while and then have to get back into a wet costume later that day. Number one, it's kind of disgusting and smelly if you do that, and number two, it's just not comfortable. If you keep them dry, they don't smell bad for the most part. And we also use things like N-Bac, that's an antibacterial spray, Febreze. I used a Bath and Body Works spray, like body spray product on mine to make her smell like cotton candy, because my costume is a skunk, and this is what my skunk Skittle looks like. And she, of course, her name is Skittle after the candy, so I wanted her to smell like candy. And that was fun because people actually, I try not to overdo it because I don't want to like knock people over with fragrance when I walk through, crowds of people. But when people would come close to me, they would say, "Oh, you smell good." So that was pretty cool. This is the first con that I have gone to, and I've been doing this for 5, 6 years now. This is the first one I've gone to where I actually had one of these costumes to wear, and so I felt like, oh yay, I get to play. And some of us who go to these cons are all about the costuming, and some people that go to these cons are just, they want to go and buy art, or different things like that. And some people just want to come and watch the craziness ensue. So it was really fun, and really fun to have a costume for the first time. And I took a couple of classes on how to perform in these costumes and that sort of thing. I learned a lot, and apparently I'm a bit of a natural at it. Okay, I know I said I was only going to put video in at the end, but this is pretty stable, and I thought y'all might want to see my very first debut wearing Skittle the skunk. I went out, was it Friday? It was either Thursday night or Friday, and I believe it was Thursday night. I put on my costume, and we started wandering around the con area in the hotel, and just, I'm waving to people and walking around and interacting with people and stuff like that. We go up to the top floor, and there is a group of, I think it was all guys. They had a big boom box, and they were playing some hip hop music, and they were standing in a circle, and one at a time a woman would come into the circle and dance. It was really cool. I love that kind of stuff. So I didn't even think about it. I busted in on their circle and started dancing, and my husband got video, so here's the video of So yeah, you now know how crazy I really am. I would never ever in a million years do that if I didn't have that costume on. It is so not me. I'm pretty shy and reserved. Once you get to know me, I can be funny, I can cut up and laugh and have a good time, but I'm not the kind of girl that would bust in on a dance circle like that. So, yep. Yep, now you know just how crazy I am. So I got to do that sort of thing. I went to a class to learn how to care for my costume, which was really a little bit redundant because I've been around these costumes for quite a while. My husband has had the goat costume for 7 or 8 years now. I can't believe it's been that long. And I've been around other people who have these costumes, so I know how to wash, how to clean them, how to take care of them, um, how to, I knew in theory how to walk around in one. When you're wearing these costumes, I should have brought Skittles' head over here. I know that sounds strange. Let me go get it for you. Okay, so this is Skittle. Well, this is Skittle's head. So you can see here. And the part of her that I can see through is actually her eyes. I look through Skittle's eyes. And just the part, the round irises here. And it's made of, my husband calls it buckram. I'm sure that's the name of the material it's made of. It's like a mesh that he spray paints black on the inside, and then he paints the eyes to look like eyes. And so my vision is very limited. If you look, if you can imagine having this on your head, you've got this big muzzle right here. So basically I can't see anything below head level without, bending over and looking. My peripheral vision maybe this much, so I have to really look around. And that was something that was really helpful in those classes, is they told me how to increase my field of vision without looking stupid doing it. And especially with a character like a skunk. Skunks are, they do a lot of weird little motions, and they've got their little skunk hands, and things like that. So while I'm walking around, I'm trying to look quizzical and look around and look, to see if there's anything going on that I need to be aware of, so I don't step on any children or any chairs or anything like that. It always helps to have a non-costumed person with you to help as well. And then I did a performance class as well, where they gave us, okay, they say, Skittle, look angry. Now if you can imagine this, happy creature. She's smiley creature trying to look angry. That was a bit of a challenge, but I pulled it off pretty well. She's got these big, big feet, so I stomped her feet, and did some other things like that. And so I had a really good time learning how to wear this costume. Absolutely. There'll be tons of pictures. Well, not tons. I didn't get as many as I wanted to, because when you're wearing a costume like this, you can't take pictures. And you don't want to carry electronic equipment with you. You get hot and sweaty in these suits, so you wouldn't want your iPhone like tucked into your suit somewhere, because moisture damage can happen. Same thing with like a digital camera. So when I was wearing her, I didn't have the ability to take pictures. Half or most of the time when I had Skittle on, my husband had either Scape the goat, or he has a husky suit as well, husky dog. He was wearing one of those, so he couldn't take pictures of me either. So I will try and find more pictures online. There should be several. Because people were taking pictures. Anytime I'm with Scape the goat, people are taking pictures, because Scape the goat is pretty incredible. And Scape the goat can play the bagpipes. So he is well known for that, and the video of him doing that will be at the end. That will be the first video I put at the end, and then after that I'll show a little bit of a few other little things. So let's see, what else did we do? We ate a lot. We went to Peachtree Center. There we go. We went to Peachtree Center to eat most of the time. And my husband loves this place there called Noodle Bowl, I think. And so we ate there a lot, and the dryer's done. That was not normal for us. We actually usually try and do this really, really on the cheap. If you ever need budget, like how to go on vacation on a budget, I could probably help you out there, because I would never ever call us poor. We have so many blessings. We are incredibly, incredibly blessed, but we don't make the kind of money that would allow us to stay at a hotel like the Westin, and eat out every night. and that sort of thing, and you know, go see the sights and all of that. That's not something that's typically in our budget. Usually when we go to a con, we will bring enough food to eat 2 meals a day in the hotel room, and then we'll eat 1 meal out. This time we ate out almost every meal because we got a tax refund this year and decided that we should do something nice for ourselves and take a vacation. It was really fun to do that. Um, so the eating out was a big deal for us. I know y'all probably don't want to hear about it. We didn't go anywhere spectacular. We went to the Metro Cafe, which was kind of cool. I don't know if any of you Atlanta folks have been there. It's called the Metro Cafe, and they have pretty good food. You know, it's a diner, but they also are known for these huge cakes. They're this tall. I can't even fit it in the screen here. And they have all different kinds. My favorite is the carrot cake. I actually did not indulge this trip. I didn't have any cake this time because I was just, you know, there was so many things to eat and I had to pick and choose because I didn't want to gain weight even though I was exercising so much. Anyway, these cakes are huge. They give you a big slice and you can never eat the whole thing. So it fills an entire big to-go box when you bring the cake home. So, and it's so delicious. They also have, you know, home cooking type foods. This is a diner, like I said, but my friend got the coconut cream cake and it was very good. What else did we do? I was gonna go to the aquarium and it just didn't happen because I was too busy running around being silly in this skunk costume here. My friends, Fruit and Captain Cougar are their names in the fandom, and they have skunks as well, skunk costumes as well. And they are green, neon green skunks with orange and white and bright colors like that, and their names are Mike and Ike. Their costumes names are Mike and Ike. So we ran around together, and that was so much fun. Here's a picture of us all. So we three candy-themed skunks ran around, and it was so funny to see people. They would see Mike and Ike, and of course their attention would immediately go to Mike and Ike because they're twins. You know, they would both look so similar. And they say, "Oh, it's the twins! It's Mike and Ike! Ha ha ha!" And then like a minute later, they would realize that my name was Skittle, and they'd be, "Oh, you know, it's Skittle!" And we got to interact with some normal people in the hotel lobby, including a bunch of little kids, and that was so fun. And a little history of Skittle. Skittle was actually built by my friend Carissa, and she had a baby a few months ago, and Skittle has been sitting in a closet for a couple of years now. She was retired. Skittle, the costume, was retired because Carissa just didn't have time to do anything with her anymore. She had tried to sell Skittle a couple of times, and we weren't in the financial, we didn't have the ability to purchase her when that happened. And around Christmas, I had mentioned to my husband, you know, it'd be really cool if I could get Skittle, you know. I don't know if Carissa still wants to sell her or not, but maybe, you know, you could check in with her, and that would be really awesome if we could figure out how to do it, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, Fox did get in touch with Carissa, obviously, and he gave me Skittle for Valentine's Day. So that's the history of Skittle. So that made it really funny when I was running around at the con because I'd be running around, and even though Fox updated her a little bit, like this sparkly blue eyeshadow that Skittle wears, she didn't have that before. And I think he fixed her mouth a little bit, maybe. And I believe he did these eyebrows too. But anyway, I'd be running around and like people I didn't know at all would run up to me and like give me these big hugs like, "Skittle, I missed you." And then I would whisper in their ear, "I'm not Carissa." And they'd be like, you know, put me back at arm length. "Who are you?" But I don't talk when I'm in costume. You know, I try and keep a character going on. For one thing, if you talk in costume and a kid sees it, it kind of ruins the magic a little bit. For another thing, it's just kind of, you know, her mouth doesn't move when I talk, so it just seems kind of cheesy to talk. But anyway, yeah, we had to wear a badge anywhere we went within the con, so I had my badge with my name on it, and then I had the badge that my husband made for Skittle below it, so that they could see who I really was. But yeah, I confused a lot of people, and that was fun, because they thought I was Krissa. We um, what else did we do? I didn't leave the hotel very much. I did keep to my fitness regimen while I was there. I was very proud of myself. I ran on the treadmill twice while I was in Atlanta, and just kept with the Couch to 5K. You know, I'm trying to work on getting my pace faster. So I did that, and the little bonus for doing that was they had a big bowl of fresh fruit in the workout room, so I would reward myself with, oh, they were so good, with an orange every time I would go work out. I should have done a third day on the treadmill, but being the crazy person that I am, I decided on Sunday, instead of doing my workout on the treadmill, I would walk down the stairs to get to the con space. Con was being held on floors 5, well, really it was 6 through 10 of this hotel. I was staying, if you will remember, on the 63rd floor of this hotel. That's a lot of stairs, you guys. It's a lot of stairs. So I got the wise idea. I'm going to take the stairs down and count that as my workout for the day. It was a good workout. By the time I made it to the bottom, number one, I was completely creeped out, a little grossed out. I'm not going to talk about that. And completely exhausted by going, and this wasn't even climbing the stairs, this was going down the stairs. And it went on and on. It probably took me 20 minutes to get down all those stairs, and I was going at a pretty good rate. And I had to go find a quiet room, which was amazing. I could find a quiet room. One of the panel rooms where they were doing the classes was empty, and they had some nice cold water in the back, and I went and poured myself a big glass of water and sat there and just, you know, drank this glass of water. And today, Tuesday, and yesterday was pretty bad too. I am so sore. I am so sore. I have a loft bed here at home where I sleep, and I sat up this morning and I sat there for probably half an hour trying to get my courage up to try and come down the ladder of my loft bed because I am so sore. Like when I get up, I walk like an old woman. It's mostly my calves and my quads. It's going to be interesting when I go run my errands because once I'm up and I've been moving for a few minutes, it's not as bad, but it is excruciating, like hard not to say ouch when I take a step. I've really done myself in, and it will probably take about a week for me to feel close to normal again, just judging from when I've done this in the past. Anyway, I didn't buy much at the con. I never really do buy much, but I did bring home one little friend here. At these cons, they have a dealer's den, and that's where you vendors can pay to have a space to sell their things. They also have what's called Artist Alley. It's a room that's set up, and it's first come, first serve. You get a little space. If you're an artist, you can, you know, it's about the size of the screen here. But if you're an artist, you can go in there. If there's a space, you can sit down and sell your things and not have to pay. Well, I found this little guy in the Artist Alley. He is so cute. I should try and find her card. I haven't named him yet. If anybody has any good ideas what I should name my little dragon fella, you should let me know. But I couldn't just leave him there. He was adorable. It's just felt, or not felt, it's like polar fleece. And she had a bunch of different animals. Rawr. He should be my new mascot, right? Like Sock Bunny has John John. This guy can be my little companion, and I can make him roar when I'm angry. Anyway. Let me see if I can find that card real quick. If it's here, it will be right in this bag right here. Seems like I bought something else, but I can't remember what it was now. Figures. Here it is. Jane, let's see, Janelle Isabel's plushies. And there's all the contact information. And she said I could special order different kinds of animals. So I may get a skunk and a goat. So I'm glad I still have that. I met a new friend while I was there. Friends of, oops, sorry, wiggling the camera. My husband built a new costume head. I had mentioned this before and posted pictures of the process of what he was doing. Remember, he was carving the antlers of this new costume head. That costume made its debut at this con and made quite a splash. The character's name is, well, it's a caribou, and the character's name is Sacre Boo. So here is that costume. So made quite an impression. Poor Cole, our friend who wore this costume, had to kind of crouch down to get through the hallways, you know, in the regular part of the hotel where the rooms were, because the antlers were so huge. And then when he got in the elevator, he had to like kind of go sideways and kind of crouch down so that he wouldn't bang into the ceiling or get caught on the light fixtures and stuff like that. But of course, once he got into like the hotel lobby and in the con space, it's way more open, and he didn't have to worry. The only thing he had to worry about at that point was poking somebody's eye out with those big antlers. So, but our friend Wayun, that's also his character name. I actually don't know his real name. That's the way it is a lot of times. I'm sure he's a friend of Cole's, and I'm sure Cole knows his real name. But I met him, and he also has a caribou costume, which is adorable. And that costume is Bo Boo, and here's a picture of him. So we went down. There was a professional photographer doing photo shoots for people in costumes, and you could, you know, pay to order prints and DVDs and things. So I went down with my husband, the goat. Well, he's not a goat, but he was wearing the goat costume. And Sacre Boo was there, and Bo Boo was there, and then there was me, the skunk. Everybody else had hooves, and everybody else had horns or antlers, but I didn't have horns or antlers or hooves. So I felt a little bit left out. So I decided that I would try and fit in a little bit. Here's a picture of me doing that. And not only was I trying to fit in, but I was kind of bringing up the rear as we were parading through the con space, and I was following along, and I was doing this, and then I'd point at the guys with the horns and the antlers and laugh, you know. I made a few people laugh that way, so that was fun. I don't have any of those pictures yet. I will share when some of them came out really cute, so I'll share the pictures that we had done. The other big thing that happened was the costume parade. There were 360 some of us wearing these costumes. We call them fursuits, and there were 364, I think. There was a lot. That's hundreds of us, and we did a little parade through the hotel. The funny thing was that this parade happened at the same time as the Atlanta St. Patrick's Day parade. And I totally missed the St. Patrick's Day parade because of it, but I still had a really good time. My husband was marching in front of me wearing the goat costume and playing his bagpipes. And, you know, if you are familiar with bagpipes, they usually have tassels that hang down from the drones. So I was following my bagpipe playing goat husband, and I was batting at the tassels as he was walking in front of me, you know. So had a good time. I did learn why they call that the March of Death, however, because, you know, it was really like herding cats to try and get these hundreds of people wearing these costumes all gathered in the big ballroom. And then they try and take a big picture of everybody together before the parade. And nobody was following any instructions or anything, and they couldn't fit us all in the frame. And we stood there. It had to be half hour, 45 minutes, crowded into this little room. And oh, it was so hot. And you know, the costumes are heavy too, so you got to really be careful when you're wearing them. Make sure you stay hydrated, make sure you take breaks and that sort of thing. And but once the parade got started, it wasn't so bad at all, and I got a really cool little water bottle for participating and everything, so that was cool. I think that's about it. Lots of cool things happened on this trip, but you know, when you're trying to recount it, you can't think of everything. When I put pictures up at the end, if there's anything I forgot to tell you about the pictures, I'll just put, you know, text in there, whatever. So, warning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the pictures. So those of you who have motion sickness problems can probably be okay with seeing the pictures. And then the first video will be of my husband playing his bagpipes in the goat costume, doing a Dropkick Murphys cover with some of his friends, and they're all wearing costumes. That video is not terribly like unstable, but it is a little bit, and unfortunately I basically had to take video of the video screen because I couldn't really get in the middle of the video. I kind of pan over to the actual stage, you can't see anything, so I went back to the video screen. Don't call the number on the video screen, it's been disabled by now anyway. And then I have video of a dance circle with some fursuiters doing dances. And I may have some other video too, I can't remember. So that is going to be it for this week. I think this is way longer than I thought it would be, but there it is. If you have stuck with me this long, may all of your fiber arts projects and your favorite hockey teams stay out of the penalty box. Bye-bye.
this is why we can't have nice things. Right here. It's always drumming.